This special presentation is provided to the public by Amun-Ra University. It is read and voiced by Shakim Ra. Secrets from the Tombs. The Tomb of Paheri. The present El Kab corresponds to the ancient town of Nekhen, once a very important city, powerful capital of the third nome of Upper Kemet. At the northeast of the city, one finds a hall made of sandstone filled with tombs, which essentially date from the New Kingdom. Among these, one of the most famous is that of Paheri, which dates from the middle of the 18th dynasty under the reign of Tutmosis III. The tomb is located at the east end of a modern walkway giving access to several tombs. With its shape as a tunnel, it is of modest dimensions, measuring about 8.3 meters in length, 3.8 meters in width, and 3.5 meters in height at its middle. The original excavation included a platform in front of the entry where the funeral well was dug. One sculptured facade is now very ruined, an oblong chamber with an arched roof, entirely decorated by relief sculpturing and painting, and finally, a niche at the rear containing 3 statues. Later, a new entry had been dug in the east wall through the sculpturing. 2 crudely built chambers with a funeral well had thus been added. The floor of the main chamber had then been cut away. The facade of the tomb had been set into the hill. On both sides, the 2 areas which carried vertical columns of hieroglyphs are today extensively destroyed. Then, as there was a high and wide space on the right, a representation of Paheri was added in the hollow relief, note addressing a prayer to the local goddess Nekhebet. Work in the tomb is of a beautiful quality, although sandstone doesn't permit the sharpness of execution which is reached in the tombs in the limestone of the Theban region. All figures and hieroglyphs are sculptured in raised relief and are painted. Only the small hieroglyphs and those of the wall at the rear are hardly incised and filled with blue painting. To the right on the south wall is a representation of Paheri. In his left hand, his staff of office. Above him is a boat, possibly an evocation of the ritual pilgrimage to Abydos. The west wall is divided in 2 sections. In the first are the owner's representations taking care of the farm work, harvest, hunting, fishing, loading of the boats, and at the other end the accomplishment of the appropriate funerary rituals. The east wall presents indoor activities. The first is a great banquet to which many forebears, parents, and friends participate. Chambers originally accessed through the north end of the east wall are of a later execution than Paheri. At the far end, the rear north wall is covered with a remarkably long inscription including the deceased merits and prayers for a happy future. In the center of the rear wall is a great niche containing the remains of 3 statues. On each side of the walls, above the scenes, is a large line of hieroglyphs running the length of the chamber. Down the center length of the ceiling runs another line of inscription. The space between the 3 ceiling lines of hieroglyphs is filled with a painted sign of differently colored zigzag lines, forming a diamond pattern running the whole length of the chamber. History of the discovery. By the scholar Cortaz gives a touching description of it. The tomb is like a book, which the ancient Egyptians gave to us to instruct us in a great part of the customs and work which composed at home the economy of civil life. In 1825, James Burton copied the scenes of the 2 walls of the main chamber. Champollion and Rossellini, then Robert Hay and Wilkinson worked at El Cobb. Entrance passage had to certainly include some inscriptions, but these have here disappeared completely. Paheri's career probably began under Tutmosis I and may have lasted through the reign of Queen Hatshepsut. He became a scribe of the treasury and also mayor of the towns of Nekeb and El Kab and modern Esna. The niche was filled by 3 seated statues, and the surface of the stela was inscribed on the right and left sides of the niche. This is a mortuary text consisting of 4 parts. 1. The traditional prayer for offerings in a much enlarged version. 2. An elaborate vision of life in the beyond. 3. A recital of Paheri's virtuous conduct as an official. And 4. An appeal to the living to recite the prayer for offerings, and again, much more elaborate than such appeals have been in the past. An offering given by the king to Amen, Lord of thrones of the 2 lands, King of eternity, Lord of everlastingness, ruler, Lord of the 2 great plumes. Soul 1, primordial, eldest, primeval, without equal. Creator of men and gods, living flame that came from noon. Maker of light for mankind. And Nekbet, the white one of Neken, mistress of heaven, lady of the 2 lands. And Osiris Kentamentiu, lord of Themis, great in Abydos, and Hathor, mistress of the desert, strong of heart among the gods, and Ptah-Seker, lord of Shetaut. Anpu, lord of Resta'u, and the Enneads, great and small. May they give 1,000 of bread, beer, beef, and fowl, 1,000 of food offerings, 1,000 of drink offerings. All the plants that sprout from earth, 1,000 of all things good and pure, that are offered to the eternal Lord, to receive the bread that came before him, the milk that came upon the altar, to drink the water that flows from Yebu. On the monthly feast, the 6th-day feast, the half-monthly feast, the great procession, the rise of Sirius, the Wag feast, the Thoth feast, the first birth feast, the birth of Aset, the procession of men, the procession of the Sem priest. the evening meal, the rise of the river, the feasts of heaven on their fixed days, in accordance with the daily custom. You are clothed in the robe of finest linen, the garments that clad the flesh of the god. You are anointed with pure oil. You drink water from the altar's rim. You partake of its possessions, as a noble in front of the blessed. For the Ka of the mayor of Nekeb, the scribe Paheri, the justified, the loyal trustee of his Lord. You come in, you go out, your heart and joy at the praise of the Lord of the gods, a good burial after revered old age. After old age has come, you take your place in the Lord of life. You come to the earth in the tomb of the west to become indeed a living Ba. It shall thrive on bread, water, and air, to assume the form of phoenix, a swallow, a falcon, or heron as you wish. You cross in the ferry without being hindered. You fare on the water's flowing flood. You come to life a second time. Your Ba shall not forsake your corpse. Your Ba is divine among the spirits. The worthy Bas converse with you. You join them to receive what is given on earth. You thrive on water. You breathe air. You drink as your heart desires. Your eyes are given you to see, your ears to hear what is spoken. Your mouth speaks, your feet walk, your hands, your arms have motion, your flesh is firm, your muscles are smooth, you delight in all your limbs. You count your members, all there, sound. There is no fault in what is yours. Your heart is yours in very truth. You have your own, your former heart. You rise to heaven. You open Da'at in any shape that you desire. You are summoned daily to Winnefer's altar. You receive the bread that comes before him, the offering to the Lord of the sacred land, for the Ka of the mayor of Nekeb, the mayor of Init, who counts the grain from Init to Nekeb, a watchful leader, free of fault, the scribe Paheri, the justified. You eat bread beside the God. At the great terrace of the Ennead's Lord, you turn from there to where he is. In the midst of the leading council, you walk about among them. You consort with the Horus servants. You go up, you go down unhindered. You are not turned back at the gate of Dot. The portals of Lightland open for you. The bolts slide back of themselves. You reach the hall of the two truths. The God who is in it welcomes you. You settle down in the netherworld. You stride about in the city of Hapi. Your heart rejoices as you plow in your plot in the field of reeds. You are rewarded with what you have grown. You gather a harvest rich in grain. The rope is roped for you in the ferry. You sail as your heart desires. You go outdoors each morning. You return each evening. The torch is lit for you at night until the sun shines on your breast. One says to you, "Welcome, welcome, in this your house of the living." You see Ra in heaven's light land. You watch Amen as he dawns. You waken gladly every day. All afflictions are expelled. You traverse eternity in joy, in the favor of the God who is in you. Your heart is with you without failing you. Your provisions remain in their place. For the Ka of the scribe, Paheri, the justified. Paheri recalls his blameless conduct. He says, "I am a noble who served his Lord, one skilled and free of negligence. I walked on the road I had explored. I knew the outcome of life. I reckoned the limits in the books, the boundaries of the king's concern. All things that pertain to the palace, like Happy in his course to the sea. My mouth was firm in serving the Lord. I was fearful of deficiency. I did not neglect making payment in full. I did not take a slice of the expense. I was guided by my own heart on the road of those praised by the king. My pen of reed made me renowned. It gave me right in the council. It made my nature. I surpassed the nobles. My good character raised me high. I was summoned as one who was blameless. Were I to be placed on the scales, I would come out complete, whole and sound. I came and went with a steady heart. I told no lie to anyone. I knew the God who dwells in man. Knowing him, I knew this from that. I did the task as they were ordered. I did not confuse the report with the reporter. I did not speak with low-class words. I did not talk to worthless people. I was a model of kindliness, one praised, who came praised from the womb, the mayor of Nekeb, Paheri the justified, son of the tutor of the prince, the scribe, Etruri, the justified, born of the lady Cam, the justified. The appeal to the living. He says, "Listen, all who now have being, I speak to you without deceit, you who live, who have existence, nobles, people upon earth, servants of God, priests, attendants, every scribe who holds the pallet, who is skilled in words of God, whoever is good to his subjects, whosoever excels in his task. Ra, everlasting, will commend you. Also, Nekabet, the white one of Neken, and whoever guides your task you will bequeath to your children, if you say, an offering given by the king, in the form in which it is written, an invocation offering as said by the fathers, and as it comes from the mouth of God. Whosoever will bend his arm, he will be on the path of truth, to act as befits, as conforms to the rules, is to bear witness before this stilla. Your 1,000 of bread, your 1,000 of beer, your 100,000 of all good things, offered peer to the Osiris, mayor of Nekeb, mayor of Inut, trustee of the treasurer on the southern journey, the worthy scribe of the accounts, the justified Paheri. I say to you, I let you know, it is a recital without expense. It does not make poor. It makes no trouble. It means no quarrel with another. It is no coercing one who is needy. It is a pleasing speech that uplifts. The heart does not tire to hear it. The breath of the mouth it is not eaten. There is no strain, no fatigue in it. It is good for you when you do it. You will find it in profit and praise. While I was in the land of the living, no sin of God was reproached against me. I have become equipped like a blessed spirit. I have furnished my place in the graveyard. I have what I need in all things. I shall not fail to respond. The dead is father to him who acts for him. He forgets not who libates for him. It is good for you to listen.